Hello friends, Coach Bob with you this morning. And this morning, if it looks like I'm wearing some really ugly sunglasses, it's because I am. You know, these sunglasses I picked up on a trip that Coach Vic and I made to California when I had broken a pair of sunglasses, and this is all they had at the store. They were like $5. But as you can see, in Tallahassee, Florida this morning, it's cold. Which can only mean one thing. It's time for our first frost ride. An annual tradition for me for over 2.5 decades. You know, every year I always look forward to this ride, but as I've gotten older, it's gotten a lot more difficult. The desire to get out when it's really, really cold like this. It takes a little more oomph, I'll say. But we're not gonna let that slow us down. You know what? Because traditions matter. You need them, and I need them. So grab you a big old hot cup of coffee, because I'm not gonna be warm. Because we're gonna go for a ride, and we'll talk about why I would take part in such an insane endeavor. Much less every year. Let's go for a ride. All right, so another year has gone by. Wow, isn't that crazy? So for those who have never been along on the most important ride of your life, welcome to this particular episode. This one holds a close, near, dear spot to my heart. You know, Coach Vic this morning was like, "You're going to go this morning? You have a dental appointment." And I told her, I said, "You know what? If I don't make my appointment, I'll call and cancel while I'm out, but I have got to get this ride done. This has to be done. This is one of those things that I do every year. It just has to be done." All right, so the most important ride of your life. Why would I do such a crazy thing? And why are these sort of traditions so important to me? You know, traditions are important in your life. To have things that you can count on, to have things that you commit to in your life are very important. And if you don't commit to anything in your life, you'll never have anything. That much I can assure you. But let's talk about why I do this. Well, first off, I have a theory in my life called posts. Yes, like a fence post. And these posts are very important. Your life, it consists of a bunch of posts. So in this crazy world, every time you have a success in your life, whether it's the moment where you go, "Man, I had it together right then. You know, I bought my first home and I felt successful for the first time. You know, my child was born. My first child was born. The marriage to my beautiful wife, all of these things, those moments, those tender moments in your life where you almost have a snapshot in your mind and you go, right there, I was a success. I had it all together right there." Take a fence post, a big one, a long one, a 12-footer, bury it 9 feet in the ground with only 3 feet sticking up over the surface, and plant it in the deep, hard clay so that it cannot be moved. It is the immovable object. And then that way, in decades, when bad things start to happen, when calamity occurs and the storms come and life tells you you're a nobody and you're lost and confused and you don't know where to go, and the wind starts blowing you backwards, you reach out and you grab a post and you miss the first one. You might even miss the second or third one, but eventually they start to slow you down and you can grab a hold of one and you can go, right here, I had it together. And there's hope. There's hope in that, knowing that if you've done it before, you can do it again. This ride represents a post. This is a post that I put in the ground every year, not marked by an insignificant page on a calendar, but marked by an event. And the event is the first frost every single year. You know, I've done this for over 25 years. I sat down and I thought about that. That's what an insane thought. Wow. I guess I am becoming that guy. Maybe that's a post in and of itself. All right. We're not going to do a bunch of hibbity-hobbing. We're just going to get in it. So reason number one, you're going to see it right here, is simply to experience God's creation. Wow. You know, whether you're a believer or whether you're not a believer, you know what? I'm not going to say I don't care, but I'm going to say it's of no consequence to me. I am a believer, and I believe in the creator of this universe. And he gave me, my daddy gave me this big, beautiful playground to get out here on and play. And I'm not going to take it for granted. I can come out here and ride and be a part of it. You know, there are people who can't walk. I'm married to one of them. And people who can't do things. And they experience to the level that they can. And I think that to take it for granted, to not get out in the playground that our daddy gave us and appreciate it and live it and love it, well, not only is it irresponsible, it's just not very smart. So every year when this happens, I get out and I get to experience the big playground. And it is a beautiful playground. How can you not love this? You know, my son recently bought a house. This was back in the summertime. And he went out in the very back part of his yard and he started clearing an area. He's got 2.5 acres and he's clearing an area back there in order to have time to just hang out and pray and meditate in this beautiful section outside in the creation, out here in the playground. You know, we've been given all of these gifts around us, you know, so we take it so for granted. Don't take it for granted. Get out in the creation, appreciate it. Appreciate the cold, the snap, appreciate the heat, the rain, the dry, the wet. Appreciate the smell of the grass in the spring and the smell of the straw in the fall. Look at that, I'm a poet, it rhymed. But just to get out in the creation, it's just wonderful. And that's why I do this every year. All right, so what is next? What is next is this: the memories of this year. So, you know, this year has been a challenging year. I've often said this has been one of the best and worst years of my life, and it has, you know. But it's not enough simply to remember the good things. You know, we do need to remember the bad things, the hard times, because a lot of times the hard times are what fashion us into something beautiful. So the memory in this year of pain, I look at my middle daughter. My middle daughter, you know, has been going through cancer treatments this year. It's been a horrible year for her. Just so much has gone on. Her life is so difficult. And she is so wonderful. She's so beautiful. She's so sweet. You know, and keep praying for her. But she's doing well. You know, in January, we were told she wouldn't be here at Christmas. And right now, she's in remission. So we're very grateful. There's been a lot of good, a lot of beautiful things. And I'm so grateful for that. You know, to be able to hold her hand in the good times and the bad. To be able to sit there with her and learn just a little bit more about how she ticks, about how life is. It's just been super awesome. Just to be around her has been magnificent. To think about my youngest daughter who's put her life back together and life is good. She's married. She's got a baby due. I'm going to be a grandpa again in January. She's due in January. Super excited, man. Her life is all together. Things are wonderful. My son, you know, my son this year got out of the Navy and he's doing great. He's working at a nuclear power plant up in Georgia. He's bought a house. I mean, life is moving for those guys. They are doing so great. I mean, just everything is super duper duper sweet for them. Coach Vic, her health has been pretty darn good this year. You know, she shaved her head in April. She's finally getting some hair back. She looks beautiful even without hair, that's for sure. But the thing is, she's like, man, how do you do it, Coach? It's cold without any hair on your head. And it is. But there are so many memories. You know, look at the memories of this channel. You know, all of you have encouraged me so much this year through all of the hard times that I've experienced. You've been there with me. You're a friend, whether you realize it or not. And you connect with me and you make my life more special. And I'm grateful to you for that. So the memories of this year. Yeah, what a sweet one. All right, we're moving right along. Many people see this one as a sad one or a depressing one. I really don't. In fact, I'm going to tell you, this is one of my favorites. And you know, I've been known to get a little bit emotional while I think about these, and it could possibly happen. Is to think of those who are no longer with us. You know, I have so many memories of those people that I love, those who are no longer with me every day. The people that are beyond the veil into eternity that I can't touch, I can't tangibly feel anymore, but I know are okay. You know, my grandmother, her name was Patricia. We called her Granny Pat. I think of her often. She was 98 years old when she died. What a wonderful woman. Always happy. You know, I remember going to her house and she would be up at like 5 o'clock in the morning making fresh bread every day. The smell of the kitchen, the sound of her singing in the kitchen, the beauty of her wearing her little soft white apron and wiping her. She had such beautiful thin white skin, just this beautiful soft skin. She was so wonderful. And for her to just hug you and to squeeze you on those cold mornings up in Atlanta where she lived. My first wife, who died of cancer. Now, you guys know I was married before I met Coach Vic. She was wonderful. We were high school sweethearts. We grew up together. She was a little bitty, just a little bitty thing, man, and she was something else, just a firecracker. She had a passion, a fire, a zeal for life, and our life was so beautiful. It was so simple and sweet. We had 2 small children, and she was diagnosed with cancer and died 21 months later. To watch her body waste away and to see all of that, but to see the beauty in her and to see the kindness and gentleness in her eyes. For her to love me with such great depth and width is just so unbelievably flattering. There's no greater gift that she could have ever given me than that. How much confidence did I grow in my life because she loved me with such great depth? You know, I always felt so undeserving of that sort of loyalty and love, and she was just so wonderful. Her little giggle, her little connection with people, the way she did things, the coy smile, she was awesome. My brother died of a massive heart attack at 49. One of the coolest guys I ever knew. He was just awesome. He was everything I wanted to be. I was tall and skinny. He was that perfect height, you know, he was that Navy SEAL height, you know, the 5'9", muscular. He had dark hair and an olive complexion. I was tall, skinny, and pale. But he was just the coolest. He was quiet and calm, and I was the total opposite of everything that he was, and I so wanted to be cool like him. My father, you know, my dad, I've often said, you know, my dad wasn't the nicest guy in the world, but he was a great dad. My dad's a great dad. He was tough. He was hard-nosed and did everything by the book, and it was awesome. You know, he is the man who turned me into the regimented human being that has the discipline to get up on a cold day and go for a ride. If it weren't for him, I don't think I would have the tenacity to do these sorts of things. My mother was so sweet, man. She was so funny. She could, boy, I tell you, pack your bags. We're going on a guilt trip, brothers. If you didn't do it exactly the way she wanted you to do it, be prepared to feel guilty, man. She could get what she wanted, and she was awesome. She could make the greatest breakfasts in her iron skillet. Yeah, man, she had that iron skillet, and if you put soap in it, you were a dead man. She just had her way, and it was wonderful. It was sweet. I was talking to Vic the other day, and I can't recall ever a time my mother going out in public wearing a pair of blue jeans. My mother was a lady. She was wonderful, and it was important to her to be a lady, and my mother was a beautiful lady. All right, and the next reason, oh yeah, man, it's just to think. Ponder your existence. Why are you here? Why do you do what you do? Why do I do what I do? Why do we feel about things the way we feel? Are we allowing the world to poison us? I think we are. My biggest fear is to become that jaded old man. I don't want to do that. I want to be an optimist. I want to leave this world loving it. I want to leave this world loving my fellow man. You know, when I look at the areas that I need to improve in, I always tell Vic, I need to be more kind, more gentle, and more loving. I need to be a better ambassador. I'm not talking about a Can-Am ambassador either, by the way. I just need to be a better man. And that's my goal. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. Don't just think about the shallow things. You know, we so often get caught up in it, you know, whether it's politics or television shows or who said what or who's got more money or who's more powerful or who's cooler, you know, who has more followers on Instagram. By the way, that would be you. I don't have any followers on Instagram. You know, none of that stuff really is important. You know, think about the things that matter in your life. Ponder them. Ponder your existence. Really go into the deep places and think. All right, and last but certainly not least, you know, this is one that is pretty crazy. It's just pretty crazy. You know, years ago, after my first wife died, I was on the I would go to work on these days where it was super duper cold. It'd be like 19 degrees outside, and I'd hop on my Harley, and back then I would wear just a leather jacket, and they had a helmet law for a while, and then when they didn't have a helmet law, I didn't even wear a helmet. But when they had the helmet law, what I would do is I would just wear, you know, just a little beanie motorcycle helmet. It was really pointless, but I would have nothing over my face, and I would get to work, and all of my employees would look at me and go, "Bob, you are crazy. Your face is red as a beet. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? What is wrong with you?" And I would tell them, "You see this red face? The pain in this face, the tingling in the face, the burning, the numbness in my hands, the excruciating pain in the bone structure in my knees tells me one thing, and that one thing is this: Coach Bob, you are alive." And that's what this ride represents to me. I am alive, and so are you. Quit living like you're dead. Get out and live. You know what? You've heard me say this. You will not regret seeing a sunrise. You will not regret seeing a sunset. If it sounds like I'm preaching, well, maybe I am, because you need to get up and live. You are not promised tomorrow, and neither am I. And if I die tomorrow, I want you guys to know this: I do it without regret. I am alive, and I am going to live my life. I am not going to be told that I cannot be free. I'm not going to be told that I cannot talk. I'm not going to be told that I cannot think. Get out and live. Be alive. Feel the pain on your face when you hurt. It is a reminder that you are not dead. You still have a nervous system. Man, I could rant for hours about just the very philosophical desire to know that I am alive. I am alive, and so are you. It is more than existence. It is so much more than existence. Please, I beg you, do not take it for granted. Love your children, love your grandchildren, love your family, love your fellow man. Live. Feel the pain, feel the joy, feel it all, experience it all. Soak it up. Soak it up. Well, all right, I'm going to ride for another half hour or so, and I think I'm going to make my dental appointment, pretty surprisingly. But I'm going to ride for another half hour or so that I can gather my thoughts just a little bit more, because it is a cold morning and it is a beautiful day, and I am grateful for all of you. All right, so do me a favor until next time. You go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are doing it wrong. Now you get out there and experience your life. You go seize the day, and I'll see you on the road real soon.